to the high school football season here on the Altoona Mirror's YouTube channel. Joined again by our beat writer for high school football, Mike Boytim. I'm Scott Franco, your host. And real quickly, shamelessly, we want people to send us mugs now. We want to see how many people out there really are watching us. I got a BG mug, I got a Hollidaysburg mug. I always have to have a drink when I'm doing this. So maybe Eugenia Valley people out there who are fans of our show, hopefully I will have a third mug out there. But anybody can send us a mug. Mike doesn't want mugs, I want mugs. So I'm hoping somebody will send us a mug for next week. But what we're going to do here, first of all, our first thing we'd like to talk about is our takeaways from the week one action. Lots of big scores in the first week. Not a lot of defense, a lot of offense. So, Mike, what was your big takeaway from week one?
I just think that even the teams that lost have something positive to look at. I mean, Penn Cambria lost 42-6 in a game they won last year, but they had a freshman quarterback throw for almost 200 yards. There's positives to be seen for each team that played last week, and they always say at the beginning of the season everyone's 0-0 and feeling good, but I think you can make an argument that all of our teams have something to feel good about after the first week too.
And also in that game, Jake Sakalis, who was a quarterback last year at Penn Cambria, he had like 9 catches for 118 yards. I mean, his first game as a wide receiver. And the quarterback Mike was talking about did not throw an interception, did he?
No.
And that's not bad for a 9th grader. And to stay on that, and it pops out in my head, Central, which I thought was going to get a better game from Northern Bedford, crushed Northern Bedford, and they had a 9th grader named Jeff Hohenstein who came out and had a nice game. And then in your first varsity competition to do the number, I think he had 2 touchdowns in that game. I think he threw one, I think he caught one or ran one, I'm not sure, but I know he had a nice game. So
and he had 8 tackles defensively as well.
For a 9th grader to come out and do that right away, I mean, I would put that kid in bubble wrap now and protect him during the week so that he can play healthy on Friday night. Our first game we're going to look at, transition perfectly into that, is Tyrone Central. This is going to be at Tyrone. It's going to be their home opener. Everybody knows who I'm going to pick in that one. Mike, what do you expect out of that game?
Well, I talked to Coach Baker, and he says they're going to continue to use both Jeff Hohenstein and Braden Kidd at quarterback. He said it worked well the first game. They liked what they saw out of that. I covered Tyrone Bellwood the first week, and I was really impressed with the way Brandon Lucas threw the ball for them. And Damon Gripp has the ability to be a real force. He had 6 catches for 100 yards. He has breakaway ability. So it's kind of weird that Tyrone has the ability to run the ball hard, but they can really open it up in the passing game this year too. So that's should be an interesting game.
And I'm curious too because I know last year Dave Baker, the nicest guy in the world. But last year I remember Dave telling me, "Oh Scott, I don't know how good we're going to be this year or next year." And it was coach speak because I thought that's why I picked Northern Bedford last week. And here Central comes out and just does it. So whatever Dave tells me next time I interview him, I'm not even going to believe it. But I know I did talk to the Central coach or the Tyrone coach this past weekend, and John Franco is worried because of how they did play that they had more numbers than Bellwood, but they didn't win because they made. I remember the critical penalties
and they
in the
made
game against Bellwood.
A couple interception at the goal line.
Yeah, so he sat there and says they better clean that up or they could be 0-2 before they know.
And just a quick note, Tyrone will be honoring its 1999 state championship team at halftime, the 20th anniversary.
Our next game we're going to go to, in fact Mike is going to this game, it's Altoona at Williamsport. Williamsport opened with a big win last week, but it was against
they beat Central Mountain, who doesn't have the greatest program.
Yeah, they do not have. They are not known for program. And Altoona played well in the second half of a game I attended. That's all I will say. But they lost to Hollidaysburg. What do you know about Williamsport? What have you heard about Williamsport?
Well, Altoona played really well against Williamsport last year, and it's a great chance for Coach Niedermeyer to possibly get his first win here. I'm picking Altoona in the game because of the momentum that they should carry over from the way they played in the second half against Hollidaysburg last week. When you look at the numbers, obviously they don't pass very much, but they were able to run the ball pretty effectively, and I think just falling in that deep hole probably hurt them against Hollidaysburg.
Yeah, because when you're down 35-7 and you don't throw the ball, you're making it really hard. But this kid they have, this 10th grader, Ethan Strout, really good track and field kid. I watched him for 3 years pummel the junior high teams at Hollidaysburg, at Altoona. real big, bulky kid. It's hard to believe when you see this kid that he is a 10th grader, but he is definitely a weapon that Holliesburg had trouble bringing down. And then again, to segue into our next game, is Mifflin County at Hollidaysburg. Mifflin County got beat pretty good last week by State College. Hollidaysburg played well in the first half, and their defense played well down the stretch to hold off Altoona in their victory. What have you heard about Mifflin County?
Well, Coach Delatry is a little bit worried about their line. He thinks that their line may be a little bit bigger than Hollidaysburg. Scott, what do you think they...
Yeah, Hollidaysburg's offensive line is one of the small... I've been watching Hollidaysburg for forever, it seems. Just some of the small... I mean, they have a guard, number 58, and is Nate Barrick. He's about 5'6", but he's a bulldog, and he runs people over. Same way with their center, Mike Scarpelli. Mike Scarpelli, if he's 5'10", there's no way Mike's in. I love Mike, but he's not 5'10". But they're just good blockers. They're coached well. Altoona was bigger than them, yet they were opening up holes for Paddock and Bryce Marlacki last week. So hopefully they can do that same thing. But you got to wonder how much Mifflin County is going to be able to recover from, because that wasn't big of them. I mean, that was pretty bad.
Well,
State College,
State College does that to a lot of teams.
You'll have to find out and see what Mifflin County does against Hollidaysburg, and then we'll know the next week how they do against Hollidaysburg plays State College. Our final game we're going to talk about is BG at Westmont, and as Mike pointed out in our pre-production meeting, that Westmont was the one that beat BG pretty bad last year.
It was 30-0.
Yeah.
Which it was not shocking to see Westmont beat BG. It was shocking to see that score last year.
I agree.
And it really sent some shockwaves through the newsroom when that happened last year. BG rebounded and had a really solid season, but that's definitely going to be something that's on Coach Wheeler's mind when they're playing this week, I'm sure.
And BG has to feel pretty good because they beat Somerset and it looked like they pretty much controlled that game. And there's a lot of new names and a lot of new faces in that BG roster, so that'll be. Plus, you get one of those kids. I don't care what any coach says. Kids remember what happened the year before. Those kids are thinking about payback.
Now, Westmont's coming off a loss to Bedford, but they were also coming off a loss to Bedford last year.
And BG was coming off a win over Somerset.
That's right.
Year, but anyways, that's it for week 2. We want to thank our guest director, Sarah Vasile. Pat Waxmonski is on assignment. He couldn't be with us tonight. So if you like Sarah's work and everything, you'll have to maybe send her a cup that she can keep on her desk here in the newsroom. For Mike Boytim, I'm Scott Franco for Mirror TV. Thanks for watching.